Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to Tony the Technician's channel, and today we're going to be going back into Harbor Freight and looking at some of the new tool releases. So if you guys follow the channel, you guys know that when I do my Harbor Freight new tool videos, I try and do them every 2 to 3 weeks maybe, just to give them time to actually add things to the list. Just so you guys are aware, like Harbor Freight never really removes things from their new tools list. They just push it further down on the list. So when you click on new tools, it's going to start off with the newest tools and gradually get older. So we're going to start at the top and we're going to go until we basically ended the last video. So I've actually looked at a few of these items before starting this video, and we actually have a good amount of decent tools added to the list in this video. So let's go ahead and take a look. First one up being this Braun 12,000 lumen linkable hanging work light. It's 360 degrees of light output and it's $100. So it's a little bit steeper than a lot of other lights, but I am actually pretty impressed by this. As long as the actual LED panels don't go out on it. I've bought some of the wing lights and stuff for the garage, and you know, one said after a year one of the wings went out, and then after that gradually the wings start to go out. But as long as these panels last, like, this could be a great deal. You can link up to 5 of these lights together. Each one has an outlet built into it. It's also got this hanger here. It's like a palm or a hand grip here, and then there's actually almost like a D-ring at the top so you can hang it from things. The LED panels are protected with this wire cage, and there is an on-off switch actually on the cord. I believe the cord is 10 foot long. So 12,000 lumens, 10-foot power cord with the power switch in the inline. Steel cage protects the LEDs, and you can link up to 5 of them. So I mean, that's a lot of light. And average life for them is 50,000 hours. So I'd say that's a pretty decent light. So here's just kind of an image of that. The clasp on the top to hang it, the outlet. Overall, I think it's a pretty nice little light. Looks like it's got some cooling here in the center. Looks like it's got some aluminum panels behind it to dissipate the heat. So it looks like it's well built. So I think for $100, it's a good deal. Next up is a torque limiting screwdriver set. This is a 22-piece set, so you get a bunch of random bits, which doesn't really matter. If you're buying a torque limiting screwdriver, I'm almost positive you probably have bits. So I never really count the bits for anything in these sets. On average, I would say a torque limiting screwdriver ranges anywhere from $60 to upwards of like $300. So $80, it's priced pretty well. This one is for 10 inch-pounds to 50 inch-pounds, adjustments by 1 inch-pound increments. I don't use anything like this. It obviously depends on what kind of work that you do. This obviously more for light duty use. Not something you see too often in the automotive field, but here's the case itself. It is plus or minus 6%. Here's everything that's included as far as the bits. So yeah, $80 for a torque limiting screwdriver. If you're in need of one, maybe whatever kind of work you do requires something, this one isn't priced too bad. It is plus or minus 6%. I don't really look at torque screwdrivers, so I don't know if plus or minus 6% is decent on a screwdriver. Obviously on a torque wrench that would be horrible, but when you're working between 10 to 50 inch-pounds, it's really not that much. I'm sure if anybody on here has used them, please let me know if plus or minus 6% is decent as far as a torque screwdriver. Then Quinn also released the 3/8 drive digital torque adapter. They already had the half-inch one, which I believe is on sale for like $27 or $28, something like that. But this one does have a larger LCD display than the half-inch drive. It is a different design. I think you got a little bit more information here. This one ranges from 5.9 to 59 foot-pounds, plus or minus 2%. So the half-inch one, I think, goes up, I don't know, 150, 200, I think it's 160, 148 foot-pounds or something like that. It's like 29 foot-pounds to 147 foot-pounds, something like that for the half-inch drive. So this 3/8 drive is 5.9 to 59. So it doesn't quite have the range the half-inch drive one does, but obviously it's 3/8. So I think it's a nice little design. $35 isn't bad. I'm sure it'll go on sale as well. There's just a quick look at the design. Memory function records up to the last 50 torque readings. Easy to read in a lot of different measurements. It's really all the information given on it. It is designed with 3 LED indicator lights and a progressive audio notification as well. So it's a pretty nice little torque adapter. Next thing I noticed were these Hercules 20 volt half-inch drive impacts. One's a high torque impact and one's a high torque impact with the ultra torque. So a high torque at 179 or 180 down from 200, and then the ultra torque down from 230 to 200. So the high torque is up to 1200 foot-pounds of breakaway and 700 foot-pounds of fastening, and the ultra torque is 1400 foot-pounds and 900 foot-pounds of fastening. So 200 foot-pounds more of breakaway and 200 foot-pounds more of fastening torque. I personally have not used the Hercules lineup, so if you guys have, please let me know your guys' thoughts of the Hercules lineup in general, and then if you are someone that runs the Hercules lineup, is this something that you would consider? Obviously, like, I'm not going, even if this was a killer deal, I'm not going to start a whole nother line of cordless tools. I primarily run the Milwaukee M12 and the DeWalt 20 volt, and so any tools that I need, I try and stick within those. I don't like to have one brand for this type of tool, one brand, I don't like to have a different brand for every type of tool. So that's why I'm not going to have 15 or 20 different brands around my garage. But if you guys do use the Hercules, please let me know your guys' thoughts, and if you would consider adding this to your lineup. So it does have 4 different modes. Here's some of the information if you would like to pause and take a look. It does have a 5-year limited warranty, a 3-speed gearbox with an auto mode and a variable speed trigger. Then you got this heavy duty power tool holder, for your belt if you're one that does a lot of carpentry or anything like that where you're constantly carrying around your tool. This is $12. Here they have a titanium 65 amp plasma cutter for $1,300. I think in the last Harbor Freight video we went over a plasma cutter as well, but I think it was a smaller version of this. And then here they have the Hercules 20 volt batteries. They have an 8 amp hour and a 12 amp hour. Those are some big batteries. Once again, since I don't use the Hercules lineup, I'm sure the performance is fine, but I would really like to know what obviously it depends on what tool it's on, but like what the battery life of these batteries are. Are they pretty decent, or is it really necessary to actually have a 12 amp hour battery? Maybe that's for some larger cordless tools, but how are the Hercules tools with battery life? Do they drain pretty quickly, or do the batteries last a pretty decent time? I'm not sure. Once again, these are just my thoughts. So if you guys have more input on some of these brands, I'd really appreciate you sharing it with me as well as the other viewers. Some backing discs for the Hercules tools. Here's actually a Maddox inner tie rod tool set for $60. That's not a bad deal. These usually range anywhere from $70 to $150, and then more expensive if you get into more of the like professional brands. So it looks like you get a decent amount of attachments for different sizes. You see this set a lot. OEM Tools has one. Well, this design in general, it's a pretty common design, but for $60, I think that's a pretty good deal. The Lyle one they compare it to here is $133. 12 different crow's foot adapters, up to 42 millimeter or 1.5 inches, 2 1/8 inch tube. Here are all the sizes that you get over here. So a pretty decent assortment of adapters that you get there, or crow's foot. I think that's a pretty good deal for $60. Here you have a new Icon 800 lumen rechargeable slim bar LED light. This one's $40. It's getting up there in price, but there's a lot of other lights on the market of this similar design that are around that price range as well. Of course, they're comparing it to a Streamlight at $85 or $86. 800 lumens isn't bad either. The foldable, I'm sure it's magnetic as well. Yeah, magnetic. 180 degree rotating head, 3 light functions. With the magnetic base, it does use the USB-C charging port, IP54 rated for water resistance, high and low modes. Doesn't state as far as how long the battery life is, but looks like a pretty decent light. But once again, it's really for those that are probably using lights a little bit more. Not everybody's out there looking for a $40 light, so still a decent light, especially when comparing it to some of the others of the similar design. So definitely a nice little add-on to the list. And then, of course, I saw this. Pittsburgh finally hopped on the bandwagon with the 10 millimeter essential socket set. I have mine from Gear Wrench. There's a couple other brands as well that do the exact same thing now. Actually, the other brands you can get like 8, 10, 11, 13 different size sets, but obviously the most common one is the 10mm set. So you're going to get 4. This is a little bit different. So you're getting 4 1/4-inch sockets and 6 3/8. Usually it's 5 and 5. I don't know what is going on with this organization here. I'm confused. Okay, a little bit different here. So you actually have 1/4-inch, 3/8, and 1/2-inch drive in this set. 6-point sockets. These two over here are going to be 1/2-inch drive. So you're going to get an impact, shallow, and deep well, and a universal for the 1/4-inch drive, and then the same thing for the 3/8 drive. And then for the 1/2-inch drive, you're getting a shallow and a deep well. Not sure how I feel about that. It's not too often that I'm using 1/2-inch drive for 10mm, so that's why I'm pretty sure I would prefer the other brands. But once again, this is $17. That's extremely cheap, so not a bad deal at all. It doesn't look like the impact sockets are magnetic. My gear wrench set, the impact sockets are actually magnetic, which is a nice touch. I do like that. So a little bit of differences here and there, but for $17, I think that's still a pretty good deal. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. Then they got some Bremen parallel clamps. They have 2100 lumen lights from Icon. These are compact magnetic rechargeable floodlights. 2100 lumens off of that little guy. That's pretty impressive. Okay, so it is the one that attaches to their underhood light. Or maybe that's just due to the magnetic base. So 360 degrees of rotating head. It does use, once again, the USB-C recharging port. Water, dust, and impact resistant. Built-in 5200 milliamp hour battery. So it's a pretty good sized battery, but once again, you're running at 2100 lumens. That's still a lot of lumens. So it says you get up to 12 hours of runtime on low, which isn't bad at all. On high, you're probably looking at maybe 4 hours. That's still pretty decent, but here it is compared to the Snap-on version of it. Both 2100 lumens. One's IP65, one's IP67. Runtime on high is 3 hours, okay. And runtime for the Snap-on is 2 hours. 2.5 hours to charge. 360 degree swivel. 3 brightness modes for $50 compared to the $183 for the Snap-on. Doesn't seem like a bad little deal. $50 for the 2100 lumen. My apologies. The red, blue, and green are going to be 750 lumen ones from Braun. So it looks like you get a very similar design, just a little bit more compact, a little bit less lumens, a little under half the lumens. This one's $30, so quite a bit cheaper than the Icon one, but wide area of light, and that's all the information you're going to get on it. It doesn't say runtime or charge time or anything like that. It does use USB-C for fast charging. I'm sure it charges pretty quickly. A few different lights added to the Harbor Freight lineup. Here's a Luminar 19-watt 2-foot linkable 2-light LED plant grow light. Okay. Here's a Hercules surface grinder for $40. Here's the new polypropylene dolly. I use the wooden ones. They're like $15, 12 to $15, something like that. Fantastic. I've used them I don't know how many times over the last 5 years. I just picked up another one in order to remove my rear end and put the new rear end in the Camaro, and worked fantastic. This one is 30 inches by 18 inches and has a 1,000-pound capacity. So here are actually the ones that I have. Oh, okay, this one's down to $10, and the larger one is $17. And then you got a solid platform version as well. And then here from Bauer, you just have a few different like electrician, carpenter attachments and bags and things like that. Heavy duty padded work belt, more scissors. They just keep releasing more scissors. Chicago Electric welding 20 amp plasma cutter. This might be the one that we looked at last time. Let's continue on down a little bit further and see if we... Okay, so I'm pretty sure we went over the 8-volt cordless variable rotary tool from Bauer as well. So yeah, that's looking like that's about it as far as new items at Harbor Freight, but it was definitely a good amount of new additions to the lineup. Good amount of lights added. This little Pittsburgh socket set, the tie rod tool, Hercules batteries, a new plasma cutter, larger plasma cutter, a couple high torque and ultra torque impacts, and these items up here. Definitely a good addition. I'd say it's probably been 3 weeks since I've done a Harbor Freight video, so definitely a good amount of stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, please make sure to hit that thumbs up. I will also have a couple links down in the description, the tools and tools continued link if you guys are interested. I have a lot of other tools that I suggest. Other than that, share your thoughts down in the comments, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. See you guys next time.